Hello, I'm Bob Beck.
And I'm Mike Mosier.
And we're coming to you from Bakersfield Speedway in Bakersfield, California, where the 1/3 mile clay oval is hosting the Dwarf Cars. In row 1, Richard McGraw, Roy Owen. Row 2, John Henry and John Linder. In row 3, Mike Fowler and Justin Power. Row 4, John Proctor and Joel Smith. Row 5, Pitts father and son, John Kane and Kevin Kane. Row 6, Mike Spia and Mike Montes. As they come around out of turn 4, look for the green flag, and they have got it. On the outside, it looks like the 04 car is trying to take the lead. Richard McGraw, but he fades back, going into turns 1 and 2. In the lead right now, it appears to be the 98 car of Roy Owen. The little 34 Ford Coupe is out in the lead. Coming up hard from behind him, though, is 34 John Henry. Henry in the 34 Ford sedan trying to close in on the leader, Roy Owen. Owen in the blue little coupe. These cars powered by 900 to 1200 cc motorcycle engines. Turn sideways, they use the transmission and a drive shaft out to a solid Toyota rear end. And it looks like on the inside, the new leader, number 34, John Henry, starts to pull away from Owen. And Owen's got some more problems because the number 3 car of Justin Power is coming up on the high side. Now slingshotting down low and trying to take over second place. Your leader goes by us, and he's got it. Justin Power moves into second, and he's going to try and close in on John Henry, the 34 sedan. Car's getting a little out of shape, getting it sideways as they go into turns 1 and 2. Here they are with our leader up on the high side. 34 John Henry powers by Justin Power. Power goes up high, now comes down low to get around the leader. He can't do it this time. Down the main straightaway, the 34 car of John Henry still in the lead. Now Henry goes up high, Power low. Power looking for the opening. He had it, he can't use it. Power goes up high using a lot of the straightaway, comes down, slingshots into the turns to try and get around the leader. He's trying to use, he tags the wall that time. That is not conducive to a good round around the track. Now you see a lot of competition behind him, and Justin is getting a little out of shape, losing traction. Justin comes down, he gets tapped by the 3X car. The 3X car gets nailed. So Kevin Kane tacks the back end of the 3 car of Justin Power. He gets out of shape, and another car, we can't see the number yet, just tags him, and it looks like the front wheel of the other car has been ripped off, Mike.
Yeah, I think you got some problems here existing with the 3 car there. Justin Powers looking for a different entry into that corner, trying to get around the number 34 car of John Henry. But in doing so, he's caused the conflict in the backside here.
All right, he comes down low, and Power gets the brunt of it. So 3X car of Kevin Kane gets crossed up completely. And the driver of the other car is out. It looks like his front wheel is ripped off. The towers are going to have to get in there and pull these cars apart. Well, maybe not. We've got some strong crewmen here at
That looked like a
Bakersfield.
human tow truck there, Bob.
Yeah, well, those guys are strong, I tell you. After picking up real cars, these things are not much. Now, you can see the motorcycle engine there with 4 carburetors feeding at 100 or 1,000 cc engine with approximately 100 horsepower. Oh, look at that front end, just ripped off. Watch this again. Here comes our second place car, Power. He gets crossed up. Kane hits him. And now another car, we still can't see the number on it, just tags him hard. Look at the suspensions deflecting, and the front wheel just rips right off. Well, it looks like Linder's into the infield with problems. Now, his car is a Chevy, about a 36, 37 Chevy. And he's checking something not quite right. He feels the suspension's a little loose on that car. Now, definitely looks like someone washed that car in hot water. It shrunk. Now they're coming around. The yellow flag is still being flown as they separate the cars and tow them off the track. But Dwarf Car Racing, although this is basically for fun, it's a real new class, is still racing. And anything can happen. Incidents like this do happen. And, we still can't see who is driving that car. The number blocked out by the crewman. Okay, now we've got a clear shot at number 50, Mike Montes. He started at the back of the pack, was making a pretty good charge up there. Currently, he was in 4th position before the accident happened. But it looks like his night of racing is over, unless they can get back to the pits and weld that front end back up again.
You find that these cars, Bob, are home based out of Phoenix, Arizona, and Southern California. Though they race all over the United States, this is an up-and-coming, growing field of cars. They've been at Bakersfield a couple times in the past, and the crowd really loves them. They're really neat to watch.
Reminds me of the old days of jalopy racing, only scaled down just a little bit. Now, these cars are real affordable, too. From what I understand, under $7,000, you've got a race-ready vehicle that you can get into and have fun just like these guys. Now, depending on where you're racing, you have either fender or fenderless, and we run them fenderless because we like the modified open-wheel look here at Bakersfield.
That's right. There's a new approach here at Bakersfield. They are often running the open-wheel modifieds, including the World of Outlaws, the CRA Sprinters, and here we have the dwarf cars with the open-wheel effect.
Well, as you can see, they're in line, in position, getting ready for the restart, going around the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4, watching the starters stand for the green flag and the restart. Oh, not going to get it this time. Craig Butts, the starter, says one more time around, guys. Hold it tight. You'll get the restart one more time around. The tear-offs. Now, you race an IMCA car. Mike, what's a tear-off?
Tear-off, actually, Bob, is multiple layers of clear plastic that goes across your crash helmet to keep vision free, because this wet clay definitely gets picked up and throws in your face. As you get dirt built up, you tear one off, and you got a new view.
All right, green flag waving, and we're back to racing. 34 car still in the lead. John Henry, the 3 car coming underneath him. Justin Power doesn't seem to have the power, but look on the outside. The 6 car from Arizona coming around. John Kane, that's Kevin Kane's father, I believe, and he tags the wall, but he keeps on going. The Candy Apple Red Chrysler, number 6, tried to get around. The cars got into it, and now we've got a new leader, Justin Power. So Power now in the lead with his little yellow coupe, and he's got some more competition behind him. A lot of hot racing. Right behind him, I believe, is the 52 car of Mike Spina as they come around now. Spina coming around right behind him in the 52 car, a little coupe, being chased by the 6 car in 3rd position, John Kane. Kane driving a Chrysler body. Justin Power, number 3, is your leader down the back straightaway, coming to 3 and 4, and he is just powered away from everybody. So whatever the problem was that kept him from passing Henry earlier on, he is definitely corrected. He is moving out smartly.
Boy, you see this here number 3 car of Kane. He's got that coil-over suspension really working quick here tonight. All 4 points carry that coil-over suspension, and he's got this thing flat hooked up, and he's going to the front, Bob.
You're right. Now look at this. Number 98, Roy Owen, who led this race at one point, has just been lapped by Justin Power. So Power with his little coupe is really running away from the pack. The 2nd place car, now getting around the 98 car of Roy Owen, is quite a bit far back in the track.
You understand this open wheel division that they're running here with. The cars stay real clean, and one point is because the drivers respect each other. With open wheel, these tires can hit each other and they climb to get these cars airborne. So they're a little bit more cautious and clean driving, you might say.
Yeah, that's true. Now also, if you look right behind the letter or the number on the car, there's a series of bars there, and that protects the tires from going into and collecting the rear tires on the other vehicles. Getting it sideways a little bit. Justin Power leading this one, lapping the 53 car. The white flag comes out. We've got 1 lap to go before Justin Power goes away with the win and the trophy in this dwarf main event. Coming around, he gets the white flag. The checkered flag comes out now, and Justin Power prevails. He's number 1 in the little 3 dwarf machine. Taking his victory lap. Looks like the crewman coming out and waving. Oh, wait a minute, we've got a problem. Looks like 2 cars tried to get off. Newton's law of physics, I guess it is.
Yep, that's Mike Fowler's car, number 33. Here's a replay on it.
And let's see, 2 cars cannot occupy the same space at the same time. I don't care what you do. And we've got a collision.
What we're looking at here is the exit gate inside of turn 1, where these guys actually take off, go into the pits to work on a car, prepare for the next race. Here you can see the 2 cars on top of each other as the 6 car passes in the background.
Yeah, there go the other cars off the track.
Now watch this human tow truck.
Don't tell me Jason's going to try and pick this car up.
He's pretty strong, Bob.
Okay, these cars weigh less than 1,000 pounds, and they really run strong. At 100 horsepower, that's 10 horsepower per pound, and that's Corvette-type acceleration.
That's going to the front and getting sideways.
You bet, and they do it with a lot of ease. The dwarf car main event as they try and pull off the track at Bakersfield Speedway. Now, it looks like this driver's not even going to get out. Well, they've picked him up by hand and put him down. 34 cents. To give you an idea of the size of the cars to the people, that's a full-size crewman in a dwarf car.
What they're doing here, they're sitting flat. Their legs are flat in the floorboard. They're sitting up almost like an upright go-kart you'd be with a full body.
Yeah. Now, they've got full cage protection. The doors even have inner structure of 1x2 square tubing or rectangular tubing. They're talking to the driver just to make sure he's okay. And that's one thing of utmost importance. Regardless of what kind of racing you're doing, the safety is of utmost importance. So Justin Power takes the win, John Kane second, John Henry third, Mike Fowler fourth, and Joel Smith rounds out the top five. Getting ready for the modified straight main event. Now this is the one to watch. Now Robbie McLaughlin, the current points leader, Kevin Collier, number 2. Bobby Stacy, always a tough driver. Green flag comes out and they are running. Camaros and Firebirds, just like you used to see on the street. The early 70s machines running strong and very consistent here at Bakersfield Speedway. This is the modified street division. The number 67 car runs around the track now in the lead. Number 67 is Ben Childress tonight driving that car. It's normally driven by Robbie Allred, but he is not in the car tonight. And look out, Bobby Stacy spinning to the infield, hammers the throttle and starts to pull back out onto the track. He's lost a lot of positions here. Now Bobby Stacy comes into this race in 4th position, and he's trying to hold on to the points because we're getting close to the end of the championship season.
You got Mr. Kenny Landrum out of Taft, California, taking the lead off of Ben coming out of turn 4, and he's starting to stretch out. Well, we got a flag down here. Something's happening over here between turn 1 and 2.
Well, you know, it looks like Kevin Collier's car. Yeah, it sure is, and he's ripped off the front suspension, or at least the front wheel. Let's see, as he comes around, they're looking at it, and they're saying, no, I don't think you're going to make it. Remember that front wheel you used to have? So, number 2 in points, Kevin Collier, just not going to compete tonight, and that's a tough break for him because, as I said, we're getting close to the end of the season, and every point is a tough one. Now, currently, Kevin Collier is behind the leader, Robbie McLaughlin, in points by a little over 50. So it's still anyone's race. They get 2 points per position of finish in the main event. So, for an example, if 50 points are awarded the winner, second place gets 48.
That's exactly right. Well, we're still on yellow flag conditions here because of the Kevin Collier wheel loss. You're looking at the car of Ben Childress, followed by car number 19, Kenny Landrum. Why we have the 67 in is because we don't race to the yellow flag here. You revert back to the previous lap, so therefore Childress in front puts Kenny Landrum back in second place. He's going to have to do it all over again. Third place, I see it there, is Mr. Jimmy Irwin, and he's going to be knocking on doors. He's always a hard charger right here in Central California.
Now Jimmy Irwin comes up into this race running 11th in points. He is behind Ralph Cook, Steve Nolan, Kenny Landrum, who we see in second position right now, currently resides 8th overall. Steve Smotherin resides in the 7th position. Andy Lewis in the 03 car is in 6th. Rick Childress, they call him Rude Rick Childress, is running in 5th position. Bobby Stacy Jr., the 22 car going past you there, is in 4th position. Honey Eddie Dale, the number 86 car, is in 3rd. Kevin Collier, who we just saw pull off the track without a front suspension, is running 2nd in points to Robbie McLaughlin. And Rowdy Robbie McLaughlin in the 02 car has got 2,110 points coming into this race. Collier with 2,048. So it's a close points race to the end of the season. Coming out of turn 4, they're looking for the green flag, but they're not going to get it. The yellow flag is still out as we try and get them. Apparently, officials say someone is out of order. So let's see who they stop and try and get into position.
Yeah, Bob, you might tell the people there at home that this division is called the modified street stocks. The modified means that these do run the aluminum intake. Torque or 2 only is what's allowed here. They do run headers. They run the 8-inch tire on the ground, and it's Mercury only. And these cars are powered by primarily the 350 and 350 CID engines. They're powered by a 500 and CFM carburation. That's the carburation only allowed on this division here at Bakersfield Speedway.
So it's a spec class to try and keep the cost of operating these cars down. Everyone runs the same carburetor. Everyone runs the same intake manifold. How you assemble your engine is up to you, and that's where the power can be made, in the assembly of the engine. They also keep the tire to a spec. Everyone's got to run the same Mercury rubber. Same size, same tread pattern, same compound on tire. So
and they also have to all weigh the same weight there, Bob. They all got to weigh in at 3,100 pounds. And believe me, after the races, we do take the top 5 vehicles into the pit and run them across the scale. And if they don't meet that weight requirement, then they are disqualified.
Okay, in this category also, you see only basically Chevrolet Camaros, Pontiac Firebirds, and all but one of these cars is the second generation Camaro. The first generation Camaro, shorter wheelbase, less weight over the rear wheels, tends to be a little squirrely and unmanageable in the turns. So what you see here now is like Benny the Banger in the 67 car is the later or the second series Camaro Firebirds out on the track. Some you can even see there are through 1980, but you find a lot of those in wrecking yards, so they're pretty cheap nowadays.
That's right. Before, this Camaro division was always the early model Camaro, 67, 68, and it was tended to find they had a softer front-end suspension, which meant that your A-arms would bend a little easier. The later model Camaros are very strong, and they perform real well on these third-mile tracks.
All right, well, Benny the Banger Childress is out in the lead with Kenny Landry behind as the green flag waves and they charge down the main straightaway. Benny the Banger getting it a little sideways there as he comes out of turn 2, wiggles a bit. Landrum tries to close up on him. Right behind them appears to be the blue car of Jimmy Irwin. As you can see, Benny the Banger was tossed up halfway down the straightaway, allowing Landrum to close in on him, and the number 74 car of Jimmy the Shoe Irwin. Coming into turns 3 and 4. Oh, we've lost another car. He pulls into the infield. He spun in turn 3 and 4, gets out of the way into the infield where it's safe. Holds up, he'll be able to pull back out again. Right now, Benny the Banger Childress is out in the lead. Going high down the back straightaway, cuts down low. Irwin right behind him real low, but right up there, and now coming down on the inside is the number 2 car right now. It's Kenny Landrum. Kenny is a persistent driver. He's a consistent, persistent driver, running in 8th overall points for the season. He comes down low to get Benny. Benny goes up high, coming out of turns 4 and turns 2. You can see Landrum coming down low, but Landrum ends up going up high. He can't mount the speed that Benny has got. You see them closing in on the 77 car. Again, an early model Camaro, not doing quite that well out there. The car is not competitive, and basically it's because of the handling situation that occurs on those older cars. Benny on the high side. Landrum tries to go in on the low side. Benny comes in a little too hot. Kenny comes down low, and it's a drag race down the main straight. Benny has a little bit of a lead, but Kenny's holding him from coming down low again. Kenny on the inside powers down as Benny the Banger gets up in the soft stuff, and that's where the clay seems to just ball up at the top of the track, and you lose traction. Oh, Charles Paul. Wait a minute. I see a billboard down on the ground. Charles is parked there. He seems to be moving around all right.
What's he doing? Trying to run a wing here on this car? That's what's happened. He's been running a wing, and it's just come off.
Is that what it is? Wait a minute. You left a tire, sir.
That's a huge-looking donut. I don't think he's going to go too far.
Let's see what happened. Ah, there it was. His right front tire decided to go bye-bye. Comes up, hits the guard wall, bouncing back violently. Look at that thing in the air. Coming back down. I think Andy Lewis is going to find it. Yep, there it goes. Tags the side of Andy Lewis's car. He sends it back up. It misses Charles Paul's car, but gets the chief sign. And there it goes. Your wing was actually the Chief sign there, Mikey.
Did you notice that tire tried to remount itself so he could go back racing? What a pit crew, I'm telling you.
Yeah, they trained the tire, huh, Mike? Okay, well, I think we've got the track just about clear now. We've got them lined back up. Oh, there we go, strong-arming the signs again. And notice the inside of that wheel. It's not there. So he's still got the center of the wheel on the brake drum, or brake rotor, depending on whether that car has discs or drum up front. He just ripped the center of that wheel out. That is telling me there's a lot of G-forces on those tires.
A lot of pressure. You note that the leader now in the street stock main event, here's a replay we'll get back to. Wheels taken off right there of the 98 car. Hits the wall, it becomes airborne. Everybody's diving underneath to avoid this known collision that's going to happen. Into the wall the car goes, down into the infield with the tire, and it gets tagged. Well, I'm telling you, these guys are doing one heck of a job getting out of the way of this here debris flying through there. They're all staying in a nice tight line. Oh, yeah, down it comes. Anybody have a carpenter in the house?
Yeah, a couple of carpet tacks, and we'll put that sign back together again. There's Andy Lewis's car. It's hard to tell on some of these dirt track cars where the latest dents appear. They bang them regularly in the turns. Dirt track is not as precise a racing as asphalt racing is, so there's a lot of body contact. That's primarily why you see older model cars out there. The sheet metal's a lot cheaper.
Well, they get looking older and older as the race goes on, too.
Yeah, at the beginning of the season, they all look good. Yellow flag about ready to come off. As they come around, starter Craig Butt says, one more time around, we're going to go racing again.
Led by the number one position again, Ken Landrum. I tell you, this guy is one guy you don't want to get mad at you. He's about 6'4", 240 pounds, but the most pleasant guy you'll ever want to meet.
Well, Benny the Banger seems to be moving back in the field, and I don't know why. Benny should have been in second place coming in. Right now, we got Jimmy DeShoe, and are those cars meeting, or is he just letting them know he's back there? Green flag waves, and there they go. Kenny Landrum and Jimmy DeShoe Irwin going into turns 1 and 2. Half a car length separate them. Jimmy DeShoe tries to go low, then goes high. Irwin not going to happen. Yes, he's not going to have it happen this time. Kenny Landrum in the 19 car holding on to the lead. Jimmy DeShoe Irwin on the inside trying to get around. And Rude Rick Childress in the 44 car looks like he's lost some sheet metal. Right behind him, you can't see the number. Look out! Bobby Stacy getting spun. Stacy goes to the infield. He clears the track, and I don't believe we've got a yellow. Nope, he is safely off the track. Not a hazard to the rest of the cars. In the lead, Landrum. Jimmy DeShoe Irwin right behind him. And the track looks kind of smooth. We got a car that's dead there, right in the turn. And they didn't see it. They got around it all right, but the officials haven't seen it. We've got no yellow flag yet, or do we? Yes, we do. Now they're slowing down. And it looks like that car's got a broken steering mechanism. It's the 07 car of Dave Titus. And he's turning the wheel one way, but the car decides it wants to go another way. It's pigeon-toed, see? There we go. A little contact with something, or possibly just the stresses and strains of racing, broken the tie rod on the car. Well, that's not all. If you look at the rear end, it looks like it's a little cocked as well. So he may have gotten a little nudge from somebody.
I think he's got some of that rear spring's been pushed up under his suspension there, Bob. He's definitely taken a hit on the front and the right rear, possibly running into the wall.
That could be. Now, he's not going to be able to get off the track by himself, and I believe the tow vehicles are going to be here to pick him up and bring him back into the pits. As you can see, the clay is pretty much holding its moisture. Look at the billboards. All the clay being slung up from the tires is landing on the billboards, and it's sticking pretty good. Here comes the tow truck to the rescue, and they'll... He's still trying. He's never going to give up. I bet he's trying to get back to the pits and get that fixed so he can make it before the yellow flag gets lifted. I don't think he's going to make it. Tow truck going to back into position and pick him up. There we go. Front wheel on the right side pointed to the pits. Front wheel on the left side pointed to the track. Car's got a split personality.
I tell you, talking about this here clay, Bob, note that as these cars come in and they exit the track, that you have certain conditions that change. As a modified street stock driver several years ago, this track would change every 2-3 minutes, and you never know exactly how to set your car up. So before a race, you will set your car up maybe in a softer position or a firmer position. What that there means is if the clay stays tight and it stays wet, you're going to set your car so it'll roll through the corner in one type of way or another. Or if it's going to get hard and rutted and dry, then you want it to be a little bit tighter so your rear end doesn't come around.
All right, in the points lead again, Robbie McLaughlin, followed by Kevin Collier, Honey Eddie Dale, Bobby Stacy Jr., and Rude Rick Childress. Childress was last year's Hobby Stock Division champ. Andy Lewis residing in 6th, Steve Smotherman 7, Kenny Landrum now leading is in 8th position overall, Steve Nolan in 9th, and Ralph Cook in the 10th spot. Now currently though, in this division, there are 56 cars trying to vie for the number 1 spot. They've all collected points, but none are doing as well as Rowdy Robbie. Robbie, the 02 car, is not having a good night. His car is the orange and black machine. He's running at about 5th position right now. He's normally one of the front runners, but it's getting close to the end of the season, and that car may be getting a little tired. I also understand Robbie is going to move into a different division next year.
That's right. Robbie's going to be moving into the late models, operating on the clay tracks, and he's did real well here with the modified streets, and he says, I'm ready to take on the big boys. The big boys meaning the late models.
Yeah, late model cars running lots larger engines, tube chassis, and they run lots quicker. Now we've got the starter saying one more time around. They're going to get the green flag in the start. They're going down the back straightaway. Kenny Landrum in the lead. Jimmy the Shoe Irwin behind him. Rude Rick Childress. Then the 19 car is right behind them. And it's Ron Sanders. And the green flag's getting ready to wave. Cars pick up speed. Green light comes on, the flag is waved, and they are racing. Kenny Landrum using the mid side of the track as Jimmy the Shoe Irwin tries to go below. Landrum comes down the main straightaway in the lead. Irwin losing ground to him now, 4 lengths behind as they go down the back straight, and they're slowing down again. What has happened? Yellow flag is out. Someone lost the bumper. Got to have those ever important bumpers on the vehicle. Off the vehicle, they become a real dangerous hazard. Now, you run IMCA Modifieds right now. That's an open wheel class. You don't have bumpers, do you?
Well, no, we don't call them bumpers, but we do have some protection up front and in the rear. We do have scruff bars on the side. What we have up front is called a Nerf bar, and it's basically the same type of thing. It's to try to protect the car from having another one enter you from the front or the back side.
Okay, now we don't know who's lost the bumper, but we'll have to keep an eye out for it. Camaro bumpers that they use there are aluminum. Although they are aluminum and they met the crash standards of 1974 and on, they were heavy son of a guns. But they're strong, and that's what they need in the racing. Here they come around. Looks like they're going to take a couple of more laps around as starter Craig Butts still has not pulled out the green flag. They're getting them in the order. Robbie McLaughlin currently residing in 5th position. Although that is not a great position for him to be in, being the points leader. Kevin Collier, his closest competitor, is out of the race after his front suspension collapsed. And he lost that front wheel. So Collier is back there. Honey Eddie Dale, the number 86 car, is still in the race. And he could move up on Bobby Stacy, who is in 4th position. Rude Rick Childress, who is coming into this race in 5th position with 1,788 points, is riding in 3rd position overall. Now, Childress was number 1 in the Hobby Stock Division last season. He made the switch to the modified streets, and he is doing great this year. His first season in the modified street cars, and he's holding down 5th overall for the year in the championship, which encompasses more than one track. They race a few tracks, and that is tough because you've got to adjust the car, and these cars are difficult to adjust for different tracks, different track conditions, and different size tracks.
That's right. The 2 different tracks they primarily run out here are different. Some have a longer straightaway and tighter corners, and this particular Bakersfield Speedway is a little bit shorter on the straightaways, but a big, wide, sweeping corner where you come in, you can really lay that car in and hammer that pedal down to the metal.
Now, if we look at the track conditions right now, the shine you see coming off the track surface is not moisture. It's actually where the track has been drying, and the cars are running over it, packing it. It's getting harder, it's getting slicker, and that is going to create problems because it's also starting to chunk away. Green flag drops, and as they say, the BS stops. They're around turn 1 into turn 2. Irwin in the 74 car behind Landrum, and Ruderick Childress right there in third position. Landrum kicking the back end out, holding the car pretty steady out there in the lead. Down the main straightaway, we've got another yellow flag. Something else has happened, and one of the cars spins. That looks like the 28 car out there. He's pulling into the infield. Apparently his night of racing is over. The 28 car into the infield. They line him up once again. There's your points leader, Rowdy Robbie. Now, as you can see, he's got that car for sale. I don't know how much you could buy it for, but it's only been abused on weekends. One more time around, we'll get the green flag and the restart. They tighten him up. Still the leader, Kenny Landrum. Behind him, Jimmy the Shoe Irwin, Ruderick Childress.
Bob, I noticed right there in the back of the pack that red-white number 18 car of Kevin Collier is back out here competing. Obviously, he needs to stay in here, holding down second position in points. He is out there on the track now.
All right, so they were able to fix the suspension and get it back out before the race concluded. Number of yellow flags, I'm sure, helped that. Landrum goes into turn 1 hot, goes up high. Irwin tries to go down low, can't do it. Robbie McLaughlin trying to get around on the inside of the 19 car. He can't, he does it. McLaughlin moving up to 4th. Now he's got his sights set on Childress. Childress goes up high, McLaughlin down low. Childress has the ability to power away. Irwin is in front of Childress. He can't get by him. There's Irwin sliding down the main straight in the lead. So Landrum, there he is. Irwin behind him. Childress and Rowdy Robbie is right there. Robbie trying to hammer on the back end of Childress's car. Landrum holding a good tight line. He's been a consistent driver in this race. Not out of shape, not having many problems. Childress goes up high and shuts the door on McLaughlin as they come out of turn 2. McLaughlin coming in again. He's in 4th place. He's on the inside of Childress, trying to get him. He's driving the car, but Childress holds him off again. Rowdy Robbie now dives into the inside again. Childress trying to run a high line, and that might be to his detriment. McLaughlin can come in on the inside of him. He just has not been able to maintain his speed. McLaughlin's car, like I said, is getting closer to the end of the season. It may be down on power, may need a freshening of the engine. Landrum out there by about 5 lengths. He has nothing to worry about, provided he keeps on going as strong as he is. McLaughlin holding a real tight line. Childress riding the ridge just under what they call the marbles, or where all the clay seems to ball up on the top side of the groove. Landrum running right in the middle of the turns, keeping the car smooth, running it nicely. Gets the back end out again, getting it sideways, having fun. Here's Landrum. Boy, look at that lead he's got, almost the length of the straightaway. And this is a full 1/3 mile track, so it's not a small track. But we've got the 77 car close. We've got a yellow flag out again, Mike.
Yeah, we're not sure. I think we've got the 77 car. It's just plain run out of gas. He's got the air coming out of that left front tire. He's got suspension trouble. Look at that left front fender. He's been hit pretty hard. He's got a tire flat, and it looks like the camber's been adjusted. Not to his advantage, of course.
Yeah, forcibly adjusted, custom by Crunch. He's pulled into the infield. Suspension damage, definitely the culprit, putting him out. And the yellow flag was pulled because he had no control going down that straightaway.
Well, we got a moment here, Bob. I'd like to talk something about the officials here at the Bakersfield Speedway. These guys are all well trained in their area, and they do one heck of a job. This new 3rd mile high bank clay oval track at Bakersfield is a new advent to the area here. They've got new lighting and new seating, and Doug Baton has done one heck of a job here.
Doug Baton, the promoter at Bakersfield Speedway, puts on a heck of a show, keeps it going. Now look at Robbie McLaughlin. See the little love taps there? He's letting Childress know who's behind him. Rowdy Robbie goes to the inside on the start to try and get Childress off guard. He doesn't do it. You can't fake Childress out. Childress is just as experienced as McLaughlin. He's just not up there in the points as high as McLaughlin is this season. Landrum still out in the lead. Childress second. Rowdy Robbie going a little wild there. Unusual for him. And he loses ground to Childress. Rowdy Robbie trying to close in. Childress trying to get his first main event win of the season. I don't believe Rick Childress has had that opportunity. His best finish to date has been a second in a main, third, fourth, and a bunch of fifths. He's trying for his first. The white flag is out. Can he get Landrum on this last lap? It's all out down the back straightaway. McLaughlin, Childress. McLaughlin on the inside. Looks like he's going to collect Childress.
Oh!
He tags Childress in the rear quarter, but Childress holds on. So Kenny Landrum gets the win. Rick Childress comes in second. Rowdy Robbie McLaughlin third. That was a pretty good race, and Landrum definitely showing he's coming of age, driving that modified streetcar to a consistent, very successful first place finish.
One heck of a job. I tell you what happened there with the car gladiators fighting each other behind Kenny. They slowed each other up and let Kenny get that advantage, that little lead up there where he could run his own line. When you run second, third place, you got a different choice.
Ken Landrum takes number one, Rick Childress second, Robbie McLaughlin third, Ron Sanders fourth, Phil Matthews fifth, rounds out the top five. Good night, everybody. Have a good drive home.
Good night, all. Take care.
I'm Bob Beck, coming to you from Bakersfield Speedway.
And I'm Mike Mosier, also from the Bakersfield Speedway.
And we've got the CRA Sprint Cars. Leland McSpadden comes into this race with number one in points, followed by Brad Knopfsinger.
In sixth is Ron Schumann and Richard Griffin.
And we're getting ready for the first heat. Adam Mitchell's in row one, Billy Boat, number two. Alongside him, Richard Griffin and Mike Sweeney in the second row. Ron the Shoe Schumann in the third row with Rip Williams. Then Don Tucker and Harlan Willis. Followed by Jerry Heat in the fifth row. This is the first heat of the CRA Wingless Sprint Cars. as they hammer the throttles down the main straightaway. The green flag waves, and they are running hard. In turn one, it is a one. Oh, he gets a little out of shape. Sprint cars very twitchy on the 1/3 mile oval at Bakersfield Speedway.
I'm telling you, these guys here, when they're putting the hammer down, Bob, these guys are actually pulling wheel stands. You catch, there you go, right there, coming out of turn 4. The wheels are both off the ground, right out of the turn 4.
And the number 4 car of Billy Boat is out in the lead. Billy Boat with that white machine getting a little out of shape. He's being challenged by another car real close to him. Is also a number 4 car. And they are running tail to nose round the 3rd mile oval at Bakersfield Speedway. 600 to 700 horsepower is what these cars put out. Injected small block Chevy based motors. These cars capable of rounding this track in 12 to 13 seconds. Look at them getting sideways in the turns. Sprint cars never drive straight around the corner. They pitch them going into the turns, keep them hung out, and then charge down the straightaways. This is a tight race for the 1 and 2 in this race. Billy Boat leading, but he is getting a lot of challenge there from behind. Boat in the white number 4 car, holding a good tight line, slinging the back end out. They use a stagger in tire size on these cars to keep them going. Billy Boat and Richard Griffin battling, both in 4 cars. Boat in the white, and Boat goes wide. Griffin comes down low to try and get around him. Griffin and Boat headed down the back straightaway. Griffin goes high and around as one of the slower cars causes Boat to just lose concentration. So now Griffin is out in the lead with 1 lap to go. The white flag is coming out. Boat and Griffin tag. Griffin's able to hold on. No damage to the cars as they come around. The white flag is waving. No, the checkered flag. And we've got a win for Griffin, followed by Boat in this first heat race.
Billy Boat out of Phoenix, Arizona, sponsored by Carrera Shocks and Lynch Products. I tell you, these 2 guys put on one heck of a good race here. The track being fresh, new, it's still real tacky.
All right, CRA Heat 1 final. Richard Griffin taking the win. Billy Boat second. Schumann third. Williams fourth. And Sweeney rounds out the top 5. The top 4 will transfer to the main event. This is the second heat race with Walt Kennedy in the front row, Kim Kraft alongside, Troy Klein right behind him, and Bobby Miknowitz behind them in row 2. Row 3 is Mike English and Gary Howard. Row 4, Scott Burns and Dennis Stewart. As we get ready for heat race number 2. The green flag drops, the BS stops. Oh, we've got calamity on the front row. Looks like we've got a lot of heavily damaged cars. The 72 machine is there. That's Kim Kraft. Let's see what what happens again. Well, I'm not sure who started that one, but lots of cars scattering, spinning sideways. No place to go for some of the cars. You see the 22 car and the 48 car in this. Let's see who we've got out there. Some suspension damages to one of the cars. Now, one thing that's tough with the sprint cars is they weigh probably less than 1,500 pounds. And on the clay surface, even with those huge tires, with that 600 plus horsepower, they can get out of shape. Walt Kennedy is out of his car. Unless they can fix that car back in the pits, his night of racing is over.
Well, I mean, that's tough. You got this kind of money wrapped up in this division, Bob, and these guys have an accident like this. But I tell you what, these crews are real quick, and you're most likely to see this Kennedy car right back out. Looks like he got some left front damage to the suspension, maybe a tie rod that's been busted off. But I'm sure this guy will be back and run again.
All right, Kim Kraft's car has been pushed off, and it will be restarted, so not much damage there. The only heavily damaged car, the one not going to be able to make the restart, is going to be Mr. Kennedy. So Kennedy out, yellow flag being shown to keep the car's speeds down as they get the track clear and get ready for the restart. Mr. Kennedy has to get back behind the wheel of his car. But these cars are basically a tube chassis vehicle, heavy, strong tubing surrounding the driver to protect him. 600 plus horsepower of Chevy small block type engine. A live quick change rear axle, straight front axle, and you see the front wheels cocked over something in the steering or possibly a bent axle.
Now you say, why is that guy still sitting in that CRA Sprinter while it's on the hook?
I give up. Why?
Well, I'll tell you why. That's a long ways back to the pits, and it's one easy way to soften up a long walk.
Okay, we're getting them lined up, and it looks like we're going to get a restart. Since this happened on the first lap, they go back into starting position, with the exception of the cars that aren't going to make the restart, and you can see Kennedy's car being towed off there. Now, even though these cars are sprint car, all-out race cars, they are running a muffler. They're running what's called a super trap. That is a cone-style muffler with different discs that you put in there, and the more discs, the quieter the engine, I'm told.
That's right. That's the same ones that we run on the IMCA Modifieds, Bob. What happens there, we have a 95 decibel reading allowance for these cars to run in Bakersfield. Most all tracks have a decibel reading. It is 95 here, and when you take these plates, you add a few plates, it becomes quieter, but also it adjusts the horsepower. The less plates you have, a little bit more horsepower grows. So you got an advantage there of, if I can run louder, not get caught, they may run a few less plates. So the track officials are always on guard to be sure that we protect your ears, the fans.
All right, well, it looks like Troy Klein's moved up to the front row in the 17 car. Now, Klein is a tough competitor, and coming into this race, Troy Klein is 9th overall in points. He is a tough, consistent, long-time CRA competitor. Alongside him is car number 72, Kim Kraft. Kraft you saw involved in that first lap melee, but his car not damaged enough to sideline him. So Kraft and Klein rounding out the front row, getting ready for this restart in the second heat of the California Racing Association Sprint Car Wingless Warrior race at Bakersfield Speedway.
Getting it sideways, that's what they're doing here. I tell you, the fans just love these cars. They go around this track so quick that if you don't keep your eye on your favorite driver, you may lose them in the pack of blur.
That's right. Now, the track record here was set a while back, and it was around 12:40. But I'll tell you something, these guys are running down. Ron Schumann set fast time tonight, a 12:79 with a 5. 12:79, that equates to a little over 100 miles an hour average speed per lap. And we've got a mishap again.
It's a rollover.
It looks like Kraft getting into this again with Klein. Klein's car is the one that goes over, so the lead cars get into this. There's Troy Klein in the 17 car. His car goes up and over, and as you can see, there doesn't appear to be any visible damage, but Klein is climbing out of his car, and he doesn't look too happy.
Here's a replay. Let's see exactly what happened.
Comes down on the front wheel, so he may have some front suspension damage there.
Troy Klein out of Hawthorne, California. Oh, it's going to be a sad drive back home tonight unless he can get this thing back together before we go into the main event action. Provided, of course, that he does qualify and move up.
Well, they're looking over the car now. They really don't see much damage, so Troy Klein may be able to get right back in that thing. Now, one thing unique to sprint cars, in many cases, and CRA is no exception, there are no onboard starters, no batteries. These cars run a magneto for power, but no battery and no starter. That saves them about 50 pounds of unwanted weight.
That's right, and they don't have that draw of horsepower as that starter takes to turn that engine over. Notice how big that right rear tire is. What happens there is you get into corners and you put that gas pedal down, you transfer a lot of weight to the right rear. You need that big rubber there to grab that dirt track, and it propels you right out of the corner and straightens you up out of the corner into the straightaway. I tell you, these guys in the red and white, again, we want to talk about the Bakersfield Speedway safety crew. That's the first guys to each accident. There's always one there with the fire extinguisher, a couple guys looking at the driver's safety. If he's in trouble, they're going to be there quickly to help give aid to that man. They have CPR and first aid training, and they're there to do what they can immediately. Even though there is an ambulance on board, everybody is there trained and ready to help at any given moment.
Right, the safety record at Bakersfield Speedway is tremendous. In the 2 years that I've been associated with the track, we've had a number of drivers get into mishaps, flips, hit the wall hard, but no one has been seriously injured. The safety devices built into today's race cars, as well as the additional ones that are sometimes required by a track that sometimes exceed the minimum requirements, have really made the difference in racing today. At one point in time, something else was a lot more safer than racing, but Racing is real safe right now. It's a great sport to be in. The kids love it too.
I tell you, there's some of our up-and-coming drivers, Bob. These guys here come out, the young youth, at the Bakersfield Speedway track here. They do have a little playground behind the bleachers there when the little ones are just not quite interested. But you can see those kids there are on the track and their eyes are glued to the action, where the action is the attraction, right here on the High Bank 3rd Mile Clay Oval in Bakersfield. Look back there across the skyline, you can see the twinkling lights of the city of Bakersfield.
Both lights are on too. You can see them.
Both lights, that's
yes.
right.
Okay.
Thank you for that card and letter.
All right, here we are as they're around the track. They're going to tow off the last car. That, I believe, was Kraft, and they'll get things going once again. Getting the restart. Now, this is 2 attempts at a restart. Now, I don't know, but I think CRA's also got the 2-spin rule. That is, if you spin twice in one race, regardless of whether or not you have any contact with another car or the car is mechanically unable to continue, you're out.
That's right. The same as the black flag. Black flag means that either you are a rough driver or you have something broken and you got to get off of the track and have an official verify whether or not you are safe to come back. The flags, again, green, of course, starts the race. White flag indicates there is 1 lap left for completion. The blue and white flag, or the blue and yellow flag, which case may be, is a move-over flag. If somebody's slower than the oncoming leaders, the flagman will show it, and that tells you to please move up and let these faster drivers drive under you.
All right, 5 cars remaining in this heat race. One car trying to go around on the outside as the green flag goes. They're waving the green, and they are racing. Looks like we have a good start this time. Coming around, the 63 car is out in the lead. That's Mike English. And I guess they really didn't get a green flag. Starter didn't like the way they started, but for safety, he let the green wave and then make sure no damage to the car. Because what happens a lot of times, as these cars come out of that turn, running somewhere in the neighborhood of 75, 80 miles an hour, if a yellow flag were to come out or the green flag doesn't come out, the cars in the back may not see that, and you'll have another car running over a car. So he initially gives them the green flag to start. As soon as they pass turns 1 and 2, the yellow comes right back out again.
Coming up here, the horsepower mounting up. We're getting ready for green, and the green flag is out.
And this is a good start now as they power into turns 1 and 2. New leader again, coming down the back straightaway, getting it sideways. Lights are shining bright. Can't see the numbers there as they come by. There we 91. Go. Well, the 91 car is Gary Howard. Howard coming up from row 4 has moved his way into the lead. Picks the front wheel up. Track surface, no real ruts, but again, it's early in the evening. You can see some of the slick spots out there and some of the spots where they've dug in through the surface of the clay. Gary Howard powering his way around the track. Again, the track setting pace tonight, 12:79 by Schumann. As they round turns 1 and 2, I'll tell you, this driver's doing a heck of a job. He's out there, gosh, about 5-6 lengths coming down the main straightaway. Into turns 1 and 2, using up a lot of real estate, driving it kind of leisurely, if you want to call 100 plus miles an hour while in a turn leisurely. A lot of the guys are running hubcaps on the outside wheels, as you can see there. They're screwed into the wheel, keeping the clay from getting into the dish portion of the wheel. A lot of unbalanced weight that you don't really want in there. Coming around still is the 91 car. Gary Howard, really unopposed at this point, driving a race all alone. Mike English, currently running in second position in the 63 car, is a good 10 lengths back. And as we see an overall view, almost, he gets it sideways there.
If you watch real close there, Bob, as these drivers are coming through the corners, there's a thing what they call the cushion, and that cushion is the shiny part of the track, and then what seems to be a little bit rougher portion of the track. And that rougher portion, of course, is where the loose stuff has been dug up and thrown out to the outside of the track. Now that cushion portion is where they get that traction on that right rear tire. If the whole car gets up there, then they have more tendency of pushing to the wall as the white flag drops, coming down for the final lap here of the heat race number 2 for the CRA Sprinters. Number 1 position is the number 91 car of Gary Howard.
And Howard taking the checkered flag and the victory as the flames shoot out of his mufflered exhaust system there. Now they run a methane or methanol fuel, don't they, in these cars?
An alcohol-type base fuel that, this makes instant horsepower. Instant horsepower means that thing's going to fire, and you're going to get a whole lot more horsepower sooner than you would on regular gasoline.
Tire stagger real evident from this point of view. As you can see, the outside rear tire lots bigger than the inside as they load that outside tire. So the winner in heat race number 2, Gary Howard, followed by English, Burns, Stewart, and Miknowitz. That is the conclusion of CRA heat race number 2. Number 3 is on the track right now. Jeff Dullman and Frankie Baldozier in the front row. Steve Osling and Mike Kirby in the second row. And Kirby runs, and he runs with you, doesn't he?
That's right.
Scott Sloan and Vern Sweeney in row 3. Bobby Davis and Joe Smith in row 4. And they're getting ready to go now.
So that makes 8 cars in this heat race.
That's going to be a full heat if they can keep it going. Coming around, green flag waves. Whoa, look at the whole shot lead pulled out. Cars rounding 1 and 2 all right. Getting a little crossed up coming out of turn 2. Your leader is the number 3 machine. And number 3 is Jeff Dullman. Dullman, starting from the front row, has been able to stay out there. And
oh my gosh.
And his motor just let go. We've got a little bit of an oil fire there on the headers. He shuts it off, and
he's parked it right up there between turn 3 and 4. There's your safety crew right now. I mean, they just jump right out there. Looks like the driver is all right, but like you said, Bob, I think he has lost his engine and probably most likely will be out for the night.
That's true. Now, there's no truth to the rumor that the safety officials at Bakersfield Speedway carry marshmallows with them to roast over the flaming engines. Let's watch that again. The engine goes away as he enters turn 3. He keeps it up high on the cushion, keeping the oil off the race surface. This is definitely a very thoughtful driver. Clay or asphalt, you don't want the oil down on the race surface. It gets slicker than can be.
There's one thing about it. When you're driving at this speed here, you have got to stay focused, and any little deviation of an eye or a mind drifting off somewhere, you're going to lose it. Right? Obviously, this man here was focused. The engine went away, and he let his car drift on up to the wall and out of track activity, because if you got stalled down in the middle of that race section, you're going to get your car ate up, because these guys are charging at 600 and 700 horsepower, and they're not going to look to give an inch. They're going to come right on through you.
All right, Jeff Dullman pulling into the pits now. We get a restart, and again, it's a yellow flag restart, not a restart on a first lap, so they'll start off single file, go back to the last completed lap. On the front row right now in the lead is Francie Bulldozier. And that person is going to start out there.
Flagman signaling that we have one more lap before green. Frankie Bulldozer is sitting on the front row getting ready for the green, and it's his job to set the pace as they come around the back chute. If he goes high, the cars are mandated to follow him on the high line. They have to stay single file until the green, and the hammer goes down. Obviously, there's the green flag.
All right, they watch it. They hammer the throttle. There's a pylon at the exit of turn 4. They can't pass until that point, and after that, it's everyone's.
Oh, we've got wheel stands again coming out of turn 2. This is racing at its best. Wheel stands coming out of turn 4. 2 abreast.
And they've got all the traction they need. The clay surface at Bakersfield is holding up quite well as they head down the back straightaway. The 74 car is still out in the lead, and that's Frank Bulldozier. He's holding on to the lead. He's gotten some serious challenges there in the back. He's got 3 cars waiting for him to make a mistake. Headed down the back straightaway. It appears the number 5 car of Steve Osling is right there. Osling tapping him on the back. He wants him to know he's there. Osling comes into this race 11th in points, but he's driving like he's number 1. Holding on. Frank starts to pull away just a little bit down the back straightaway, but Osling is there coming out of 4. Osling and Frank trying to keep it going. Osling goes down low.
Mike Kirby right there running in 3rd place. There he goes. Mike Kirby's looking for a hole shot to come underneath, and he doesn't quite make it. Does he have it? I'm telling you, these guys are charging.
Well, he got the back end out too much, lost traction, but look at the battle between Osling and Frank, and Osling is now in the lead. Osling has pulled out the lead. He picks the front wheels up just momentarily and powers down the straightaway into the lead. Now it looks like Kirby, your friend from the IMCA ranks, is battling with Frank for second position as Osling just pulls away, making it look easy. Osling in 11th position overall in points right now is running a fine race against the heat race. They have to qualify for the main. Top 4 in the heat race will transfer to the main event. Rounding the track, the white flag is out. One more lap to go, and Osling will win the heat race tonight. The third heat race here at Bakersfield Speedway. Getting up there right on the edge of the cushion. Slingshots down, takes the checkered flag. So Osling runs a fine race. He holds off the charges at the end and pulls away, making his victory lap before he goes into the pits. Lots more CRA action going to be happening here at Bakersfield Speedway.
Notice there that my running mate in the IMCA division, Mike Kirby, did sneak up there in the last corner to take second place.
That's right. Steve Osling, number 1. Kirby, 2. Bulldozer, 3. Vern Sweeney, 4th, and Bobby Davis rounds out the top 5.
Bobby Davis right out of Bakersfield, California, first year into the CRA Sprinters, and I tell you what, it takes a while, and he's doing okay.
Semi-main event up right now. Scott Sloan and Bobby Mikowitz on the front row. Row 3 has got Walt Kennedy and Kim Kraft, Adam Mitchell and Harlan Willis in row 4. Row 5 is Bobby Davis, Don Tucker. 6th is Jerry Heat. These are the people that didn't rank in the top 4 in their heat races. They're trying to make it to the main through the semi-main. Top 4 in the semi-main will move up to the main event. A green flag start, and well, apparently not a good enough start, as Craig Butts, the starter, says, let's try this one more time, guys. Keep it tight, keep them side by side. The cone you see there, the pylon, that is where they actually start racing from. They can pick up speed on that start, but they cannot start passing another car till after they get past the pylon. If they do, they'll either get a restart, or if it happens and they don't get a restart, say on a yellow flag restart, they will be penalized position by the scorers.
Boy, and that hurts, because you work real hard to get where you are.
How many times has that happened to you, Mike?
Never has happened.
Right. Okay, green flag waving, and they're going for it. Same situation this time. Cars stringing out on the first lap down the back straightaway. Look at this car just rising off the ground. It's the 19 car in the lead, Bobby Miknowitz. He didn't have a good run in his heat race, but I'll tell you right now, he got through the traffic, and he is running strong.
Well, he's running away with it.
That's right. He started on the front row, and I guess it was the traffic that held him back in the heat race, because he is running real strong right now. He's got about a 10-length lead, and we've only got a couple of laps down.
Just amazing.
In second position, coming around behind, is, well, there's the 19 car, a Ford-powered sprint car. That's rather unusual. So Bobby choosing the 4-letter word to go racing with. Ford, more appropriately, is tops on the super speedway. Sprint cars, the mainstay is the Chevy small block. Rounding the track, Bobby's still out in the lead, doing a fine job of racing. He's got that Ford motor just hooked up nice. Ford, with their SVO division, has been coming up with a lot of specialty parts, and that has helped the Ford racers become more competitive with some of the Chevy-powered cars. Now, you run a Chevy in your IMCA car, though, right, Mike?
That's right. We've got two. Our mainstay right now is the 350 Chevrolet small block, but also we have in the box ready to go is the 400 small block, which has really been built more to spec for the IMCA division.
Okay.
Notice these track conditions here, Bob. As each little race goes through, it's required that maybe the driver's going to add a little bit more air pressure or drop a little air pressure, set a little more wedge in the circumference of the tires, which means that you get a little taller one in the right rear maybe and a little shorter one in the left rear. That makes these cars hook up because every 2-3 laps, that track condition changes and you want all that horsepower you can get down on the track to push you forward.
Bobby finds a little rut there, hangs in there, but he's able to pull it back in line. Now notice his rear outside wheel as he goes around the track. He's slinging clay off the surface, and it's going up into the cushion or above the cushion in the marbles. and that's the area you really don't want to run. Now, Bobby has been rounding the track without anyone really hanging on his tail. He's had an easy time out there in the semi-main event, so he will definitely make it to the main. Again, the top 4 in the semi-main will transfer. The backfield action still a little hot. Bobby gets a real wide there, nearly tags the wall. It's his last lap, so he's only got one more lap to stay out there and make the transfer. Having a good, strong run. Here comes Bobby, and he gets a well-deserved checkered flag all alone out there with that Ford-powered Sprinter. And we're getting ready for the main event coming up soon. What kind of action do you think we're going to see out there then, Mike?
Well, I tell you, these guys have run on the track. They've got their suspension ideas, their air pressure, circumference ready to go. I think we're in for a real quick, exciting main event right here at Bakersfield Speedway, the 3rd mile, Clay Oval.
Well, if you look at the track surface right now, it's gotten real slick down the straightaways, and that is going to be affecting them later on. And we don't know if the water truck's going to come out, but we'll see. So in the semi-main event, Mike Micknowitz takes the win. Scott Sloan second, Sweeney third, Troy Klein fourth, and Kim Kraft makes the top 5, but not the transfer, unless they keep him as an alternate. The main event cars are on the track, and this is a pretty full field. The ones to watch: Rip Williams, Richard Griffin, Vern Sweeney, Steve Osling, Ron the Shoe Schumann, Troy Klein, and Bobby Micknowitz. Just saw him run strong in his semi-main event win. Troy Klein, a top front runner, been running CRA for many, many years. Ron the Shoe Schumann, boy, he is tough. Leland McSpadden, the points leader, is not out tonight, and that's good for these guys. They can make some gains on it. Green flag waves, and they are racing. No incidents on this start. They get a good, clean start. And Bobby is out in front with his Ford already. So Bobby starting up hard and fast. Right behind him is the 4 car. The 4 car driven by Richard Griffin. He was one of the ones to watch. Griffin goes high and wide up in the marbles, but he's able to come back down again and stay there. Up again, high is Griffin. Griffin slingshots down, nearly tags the back end of Bobby's car. Bobby trying to make his car as wide as he can so Griffin can't get around. Griffin going to the high side. Oh!
Into the wall.
Yes, he gets the wall, but hey, tire held it off. We saw him hit the wall, but he's still going strong, so the tire must have absorbed most of that shock.
That was a lucky break, I think. Here's a replay now, Bob. Look at this. Tremendous impact into the wall. Upsets the car, and he still hangs on. There's some fine driving.
It sure is, and he keeps on going strong. He's right there. Robbie in the lead. Griffin going down low this time. He doesn't want to tag the wall. He's going to make Robbie go high.
He says, come on, move over, buddy. I'm coming through.
Well, they're racing hard. Nose to tail. Inches separate them going down the back straightaway into the turn. Robbie slings it sideways first. Griffin trying to come in on the inside this time. He's decided his car's not set up for the high line.
Notice the 2 different styles there, Bob, of driving. One of them's taking what they call the low groove. The other guy's taking the high groove. Trying to find that horsepower and to bite on the ground where, see, that lower groove almost gave him that advantage, but staying high, your RPM stays up when you come off the corner. That's an important issue because your RPM's up and you're going to pull away.
All right, the cars are slowing down. Apparently, we've got a yellow flag being waved. Something not right out there. Maybe some debris. Yeah, apparently there's some debris on the front straightaway. Starter Craig Budd says, I see it now. Let's get you guys to the side so you don't puncture a tire on it. Something's there. He's pointing to the inside. Go to the inside. And we'll see what kind of debris it is. Not having much luck. Maybe they think he's pointing to the infield. All right, now the safety crew comes from the infield. That's brave Jason there walking out first. They found something embedded, and it's hot, so it's something off an engine.
Notice that the guy has gloves on. He's doing it safely.
Yeah.
Always safety first.
His wife won't let him leave without him. So he's there, getting ready to go. Under the lights at Bakersfield Speedway. Oh, there's another part. Well, you know, somebody doesn't have any brakes left. No wonder it's hot. It's not an engine part.
That's exactly right. It looks
the
like
rotor. Yeah, half a rotor. Well, half a rotor's better than no rotor,
That's
but
half brakes.
Somebody out there is going to be pulling off the track if they haven't already.
Actually, that's bad brakes.
Yeah, really. Talk about bad brakes. I don't want to be standing in front of these cars when they pull in the pit. Now, these cars have no reverse gear either.
No reverse. It's all forward.
Got to be push started. They've got an in and out box, a direct drive. So once you start rolling, you've got to keep it rolling.
You got to keep that engine fired because if you die, you are out. There's no push.
That's right. During a race, you go into the infield with the engine stopped. You hope you stay on the track, but you go in the infield, you're not going to get push started again. Out on the track, if you spin, again, the 2-spin rule, spin it twice in one race. Regardless of the mechanical condition of the car, you won't be push started again. You will have to go into the infield or into the pits and watch the race from wherever you can. Race going strong. Right now, your leader is still Bobby Miknowitz, and he's followed by Richard Griffin. Green flag waves. We've got a restart, and they're going. Griffin trying to go in every which direction he can to get around Bobby. Now he goes to the inside.
All right, nice move.
He pulls him just a bit, but I'll tell you something. Bobby is tough. He's got the power to hammer the throttle and maintain traction. He's doing a fine bit of job. Griffin coming out of turn 3 and 4. Watch him this time. He actually had the tires up his front. Bobby gets out of shape. Griffin collects him a bit and then drives on by. And Bobby has shut off. Or, he possibly may have popped out of gear. Let's see if he keeps moving. Right now, Griffin is way out in front. The yellow flag comes on, so Bobby has come to a stop. And that's a tough break for him. He was running so strong in the first laps of this race. Bobby stopped on the front straightaway with his Ford. His helmet's still on. Let's see what happened again. Now, look at how the car straightens out. He just lost power, or possibly it popped out of gear. Let's see if he gets a push start. Griffin collects him. Griffin keeps on going. Bobby trying to get to the high side out of the way.
Yeah, he's definitely stalled there now. He's without power, and he's pulled himself out of the racing groove, as they call it.
So we'll see what happens here. Push truck comes up behind him, or in this case, a push Jeep. And it's more than a coming out of gear. They push him into the pits. He is out of the race.
Bob, have you ever had any aspirations to get yourself behind some of these here, behind the wheels of one of these fast-moving CRA sprinters?
No.
No, okay.
No. I haven't got that much life insurance. They are interesting cars, though. The closest I've been is I've run a Formula car on asphalt once, and that is a thrill a minute. The most exciting ride I had, though, believe it or not, was in a go-kart. Yeah, 0 to 80 and back to 0 in less than 10 seconds.
Oh, boy, I'll stick to the IMCA modified, thank you.
Well, why? Just because you got a cage around you?
No, because I own it already.
Well, that's okay. All right, well, we're getting ready for CRA's sprint cars. The restart.
It's green.
And they hammer the throttles. Griffin out in the lead. But where are some of the front runners? Where's Troy Klein? Where's Schumann? They've got to be back there someplace. Griffin all alone, but he is starting to get some competition. Look at the field behind him. Griffin out there slinging the back end just a little late, coming out of 3 and 4. Side-by-side action behind him. Can't see who those drivers are just yet. Lights reflecting off these shiny cars. It's hard to see some of the numbers. We see Griffin, and Griffin getting awfully close to that wall again. Right behind him is the 96 car, and 98, Vern Sweeney. So Sweeney is right there. He can collect him if he can catch up. Look at how close he's getting to the wall. Now, I've heard in stock car racing, the stripe, the Darlington stripe or something like that. In a stock car with a body around you, you can touch the wall lightly and not be too bad, but Griffin's already tasted the wall once. I don't think he wants to do it again.
No, you don't want to do with that open wheel modified. That tire will climb right up on the wall and send you end over end into the air.
All right, Griffin's still out in front. He's extending his lead out right now. The 98 car, Vern Sweeney, is not closing in on him, and neither are any of the other front runners or people we normally expect to be in the front. So Griffin has got his car dialed in better than I guess we think. 47 car out there is Rip Williams. He's trying to close in. Now the slower car is creating a problem. Griffin's got to try and negotiate and thread his way through the slower vehicles. Wish we had a clock on these guys to see what the interval is. But they are running so close. And again, the qualifying time, 12:79. Chances are you won't see a time as quick during racing. Too many cars in the way. Track conditions change. But boy, look at this battle down the straightaway. 3 cars abreast. And we got some contact there.
That's Ron Schumann coming up the back of the pack. Ron Schumann is now starting to make his move.
All right, Griffin's still out in the lead. Again, coming real close to the wall. And you can see the track, and he's up in the marbles. That is not where he wants to be. Hammers the throttle. You see him throw up a rooster tail. He comes back down, but he's right on the ragged edge there, trying to negotiate some of these slower cars. Look at the smoke coming off the tire of the car he just passes. The 74 car smoking its tire. That's Frank Baldozier, who we saw earlier on. He just hammered the throttle and couldn't get any traction. He was smoking the tire. And that's a tough trick to do on clay.
Yeah, and you find what happens is they get too excited. Maybe they'll just hammer that gas pedal down, and they sit there and spin. And a lot of that smoke you see is moisture is being thrown out of the track.
Well, that's not a good thing to do. The moisture coming out, and the track will lose its tackiness. Actually, when this track is wet, it's better than when it's dry because the clay forms the tires, and you get better traction. Coming around still out in the lead. He's having a good run tonight is Griffin in the 4 car. Second place is nowhere to be found back there. Griffin goes down the back straight, a straightaway lead. Smoke coming off the car in front of him. I don't know if that's engine or tire smoke. If it is engine smoke, he'll find the black flag coming out for him. But judging by it, it appeared to be tire smoke. Griffin gets around that white machine. Now he closes his sights on another machine. Griffin, you see the wheels come up in the air on that Griffin car? Now the track is not that rough, so he's getting traction and just jerking that car up. Now, I've seen a sprint car pop a wheelie down the length of a straight once, but you've got to have a good condition for that. Griffin smoking his tire a little bit as he goes high again. Boy, I tell you something, he is running on the edge, coming so close to the wall, Mike.
That last car he passed, the number 91 car of Gary Howard. Gary Howard using the Leland McSpadden car in this particular race. Leland not able to appear, but the car is here. As we come into a yellow flag, and we haven't seen exactly what that yellow's for. Let's see if we can find out.
I don't see any cars in trouble as they come around, but there may be, well, I guess we do. It's Frankie. He's having some problems again. We saw him smoking his tires, and maybe it wasn't really smoke. Well, no, he's got it in gear, so they're going to restart him. He probably spun, and he fires right back up. So Frankie Baldozier has some problems down the back straightaway. He gets it refired, and he's running again. Once we get everyone lined back up again where they should be, we'll get this race started. This has been a great main event. No incidents, no damaged cars so far.
That's right.
They're running strong. Yeah. 12:79 is the fastest qualifying time of this race, and right now they're running low 13s, high 12-second laps, which is really an exciting thing to watch. The cars going down the main straightaway will actually form a wind of their own, and when you're sitting in the stands, you get blasted every time they come by. Now, you get more advantage of feeling that breeze where you stand. Where is it that you normally work at Bakersfield?
Primarily I work right there in front of us in turn 4. I tell you where you really feel the good blast is sitting right behind that wheel and that force of the air coming through. You get hot and excited when you're driving. That adrenaline's pumping and you're excited, and you welcome that. A lot of the NASCAR drivers actually have what they call cool cans and cool suits, and that's pockets of water and ice in their fire suit itself to keep them cool, because you do heat up.
Well, a lot of horsepower creates a lot of heat. There's no insulation in that car. There's a very thin firewall, and it's basically to keep the flash of the fire hitting you. Now, they also have a fire system, or a flame retardant system in the car, as well as the uniforms they wear are flame retardant and Nomex type material. Is that correct?
That's right. It's what they call a flame out system, and it's nippled off of a Halon fire extinguisher, spread out through a nipple effect underneath the hood and some into the cockpit of the car. In case you get on fire or you have a fire under the hood, you can hit a button and it'll release that, and it sprays it all over you and in the engine compartment. Give you a few seconds enough to get out without having any body damage.
And the problem with the alcohol-based fuel that they're using is you may not see the flame. The flame burns very clean, bluish, and during a daylight situation or in bright light, you cannot see an alcohol flame.
That's right. That's one of the hazards of running alcohol. Is not able to see it. So whenever you're working on it, you come upon an accident, you want to be sure when you approach it that you put your hands in there and feel any heat, because that's really the only way you're going to know that you got a car on fire.
All right, the cars are coming around. They're in line. I don't know if the officials think they're in the right position right now. But we're going to get ready to have a restart. Yellow flag still being waved as we get ready for the restart. Cars still lining up into position here at Bakersfield Speedway. 1/3 mile track was increased in size for the 1992 season, and I'll tell you, every driver I've spoken to, including yourself, throughout the season has just commended how well the track is under the new 1/3 mile condition.
I'll tell you, Bob, when the track was a 1/4 mile track, it offered a one groove racing situation, and if you weren't in that groove, by golly, it was pretty darn hard to pass. This past season, talking to all the drivers in all divisions, late models, whatever, you actually now have a good 3 groove, which means that you can drive down to the bottom or in the middle and the top and still get good clean passing, and then that affords some great exciting racing.
Well, I've never had the opportunity to drive here at Bakersfield Speedway other than one night I got to drive the pace car with the trophy girl in it. But the track is really good. Coming from Ascot, this is the closest track I've seen to the condition that Ascot used to be, which makes great racing. All right, Craig Butts, the starter, says one more lap around, you're going to get the green flag. Speed start to come up, RPM start to build, the enthusiasm in the crowd. If we can see them now, that would be waving, and the green flag drops. Griffin in the lead, and right behind him,
47.
Rip Williams coming in on the inside.
And right back, Griffin.
Griffin and Williams getting crossed up is Rip, and he rips a new groove there. Rip Williams really hammers the throttle. Now, Rip is going up high. He's going right to the edge of the cushion, hammering the throttle, and he's pulled away. Definitely has the horsepower to really pull away right now. Griffin fading back just a bit, using up some real estate there. In 3rd position, I believe, is Steve Osling. Osling trying to keep up with these two guys, but now Griffin closes in. He's right there. Look at these guys bounce. They found some of the ruts being formed in the track from tonight's racing, and that is going to be an added obstacle.
This is
an important.
This is an important note. Look at these two guys. Now, they're taking the same line coming in and out of that track. Now, what I guess that second car there is doing is waiting for the leader to bobble a little bit. There he is. And he looks down to the inside and see exactly what happens. He has an opening there, possibly.
And Griffin slides a little too high this time and lets Rip pull away. Rip Williams on the inside of the track right now. Richard Griffin right behind him, passing one of the slower cars. Look at, he had the wheels all the way cocked. He is hanging it all out, getting it sideways. Look at him. He's got that steering wheel turned as far as it will go, and that is a lot of effort. These cars don't have power steering. You really have to muscle the wheel on these. Look at Griffin as he slides underneath one of the slower cars, losing ground. With 1 lap to go, it looks like Rip Williams, coming from nowhere, has taken over the lead and is going to take the checkered flag and the win tonight. Coming around, here he is, your winner, number 47, Rip Williams, followed by Richard Griffin. What a race.
That was great. I tell you, that was one of the most exciting races we've had here with the CRA sprinters. Those last 3 or 4 laps, these guys were hooked up and going to the front.
There's your winner, number 47, Rip Williams. Did a fine job. Boy, he really hammered the throttle those last few laps and got out there. Caught Griffin, got under him, passed him. Griffin could not keep up with the pace that Rip was setting here at Bakersfield Speedway tonight. Well, what'd you think of the racing? Well, never mind. Rip Williams takes the win. Richard Griffin second. Osling third. Schumann fourth. And Sweeney rounding out the top 5. Well, at Bakersfield Speedway, I'm Bob Beck.
And I'm Mike Mosier. Hope you enjoyed your evening here tonight watching the CRA Sprinters.